I am an old Chinese medicine practitioner. Dictatorship boasts. Ordinary dolls have the mysterious inheritance and the ability to see through. From then on, medical skills will dominate the sky, martial arts will surpass gods, and life will be filled with laughter and pride. Chapter 1. Do second-hand old women accept it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Collecting old color TVs, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines. In the urban village of Anhai City, the loud shouts of men echoed through the narrow alleys. Liangzi, give me your contact information so I can give you an old TV. How about that? A woman's voice came from above. Qin Fei looked up and saw a beautiful woman waving at him with a smile on her face. Is there such a good thing? Qin Fei laughed. Walking through the back door, I saw the woman just now waiting for him. Come with me. After speaking, the woman twisted her slender waist and turned upstairs. The lights in the building flickered, and the two of them walked in front of each other. The woman's nightgown was too short, and Qin Fei deliberately kept a distance. He didn't dare to look up and stared slowly up the stairs at his feet. Suddenly, the woman screamed. She stepped on it empty and fell backwards, causing Qin Fei to quickly pick it up. But he underestimated the weight of the woman, and under the strong impact, Qin Fei was also overwhelmed. With a loud clang, Qin Fei's temple slammed hard against the steps. Blood slowly flowed down his cheeks until it reached his chest, and the jade plaque hanging around his neck emitted a faint light at this moment. In the mist, Qin Fei felt like he had come to another world. A towering figure stands at the top of the sky, with a majestic body that is awe-inspiring. Dong! A sound like a great bell and a great LV spread from this world, and when heard in people's ears, it has a deafening and enlightening feeling, as if it can give people a kind of enlightenment and enlightenment. This magnificent voice is stirring and high-pitched, with lingering echoes that last for a long time. It is like some kind of heavenly and earthly sound, striking at the heart and making the spiritual platform clear. All distractions and negative emotions seem to be swept away, washing the soul and plunging it into a wonderful state. Invisibly, it gives people a feeling of rising soul. Qin Fei looked incredulous. What sound is this? It felt like it was ringing directly in my mind, and in that moment, it was like a soul leaving my body. As if opening up one's perception of all things in heaven and earth, the whole world seems to be shrouded in energy. This is Dao Yin. It can cleanse a person's mind, keep their mind and spirit together, and quickly enter the realm of enlightenment without any distractions. Wei En's figure suddenly lowered his head to look at him, and his huge lips spoke. At the moment when his four eyes were facing each other, Qin Fei felt that time and space were all in chaos. The chosen one, are you ready? The sound echoed from all directions, making his scalp tingle. What are you preparing? Qin Fei was a bit confused. Now. I only heard a voice coming from the other person's mouth. Immediately after, countless virtual and real scrolls appeared in the sky, intertwined like a stream of time. Among them, there are scenes of treating illnesses and saving lives, as well as scenes of practicing formations, refining weapons, and cultivating oneself, countless and overwhelming. Gathering. As if guided, these countless images rushed towards Qin Fei's head. Such a mysterious message is beyond the capacity of an ordinary person. Almost in an instant, Qin Fei was knocked unconscious by the impact. Lying down. Day. My head hurts so much. I don't know how long I fainted, but when he woke up, he found himself lying diagonally on the stairs. Shaking his head, Qin Fei recalled the scene just now and was shocked to find that those scenes were as clear as what he had personally experienced before. The most impressive technique for cultivation, the condensing qi technique, left a deep impression on me with its mnemonic and movements, just like the 8th set of radio gymnastics I learned as a child that is unforgettable. Am I the son of the plane in the novel? Qin Fei murmured to himself, unable to calm down for a moment. Ouch ouch, the painful moan beside him pulled him back to reality. Listening to the screams, Qin Fei turned his head to look at the woman, who was rubbing her ankle and crying loudly. He asked, "Did you sprain your foot?" "Woo-woo, yes." The woman nodded forcefully with a pitiful expression. "Let me see, I have been a traditional Chinese medicine doctor before." Qin Fei was making up nonsense, but in fact, he wanted to take the opportunity to verify the authenticity of the inheritance. She was held flat on the bed, and her ankle was swollen like a mantu, which was very scary. "It's all your fault, you heartless person, for causing others to get hurt." "It's okay, I can treat a minor injury," Qin Fei said, placing his hand directly on her ankle. "Ouch. Be gentle." The woman's delicate body couldn't help but tremble as she was touched in pain. "Hold on." Running the condensing qi technique, Qin Fei slowly began to exert his strength. A trace of invisible true qi was seeping into his injured area through his palm. After a moment, the redness and swelling had mostly subsided. Seeing this scene, Qin Fei was overjoyed and his transportation speed accelerated. Like 10,000 ants crawling on her body, a slightly burning sensation spread through the woman's body, and she couldn't help but make a dreamy sound. "It's too torturous, this is sent by heaven to punish me, isn't it?" Upon hearing this sound, Qin Fei's heart was almost tingling. On the surface, he was using his martial arts to heal his wounds, but in reality, he was engaged in a fierce battle with his inner demons. 2 minutes later, he finally put away his palm and said to the woman, "Done, you get out of bed and give it a try." "Really?" She looked at Qin Fei suspiciously, then tried to take 2 steps down and found that her ankle really didn't hurt. "Are you too powerful?" "It's not a big deal," Qin Fei said shamelessly. As she spoke, she took a step forward and hooked Qin Fei's chin with her hand, saying, "Is the massage so good? Come with me into the house, and today I will reward you well." Qin Fei, who was 1.8 meters tall, looked at her from a high position, with many white and greasy skin and curves visible at this moment. "Infinite Heavenly Sovereign, Shanzai Shanzai, it's too torturous." However, in the next second, Qin Fei's eyes suddenly flashed a golden light. Then he saw through the floor under his feet, and naturally saw through the person in front of him. In that moment, Qin Fei's pores seemed to open up all over his body. "Is this too magical?" Seeing Qin Fei's eyes fixed on him, the woman thought that her charm had successfully captivated Qin Fei, so she hugged him. Chapter 4. Breakup. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Saving someone doesn't feel much to Qin Fei. But picking up money made him feel anxious because it was not real money at all, but a revealing promotional photo with a small advertisement printed on the back. The person who was worried about losing money cursed 180 times, and then he took the junk from the tricycle to the recycling station for disposal. After all, this was collected at his own expense and cannot be wasted. And with inheritance, he no longer wanted to rely on collecting scrap to make a living, so he decided to sell the tricycle together. The price at which the tricycle was sold really surprised him. "Grass, a treacherous businessman. When I sold my tricycle to you for 200 yuan, the recycling price was only 20 yuan. While walking out of the recycling bin, Qin Fei was still greeting the boss's family. At first, in order to facilitate the streets and alleys of collecting junk, he spent a lot of money at the recycling station to buy an unknown hand tricycle. However, after riding it for less than a month, it has depreciated so much. This boss has a son who definitely doesn't have any eyes. After cursing fiercely, suddenly his phone rang. Upon taking it out, Qin Fei's expression immediately brightened, as the phone call was from his girlfriend Juliet. "Qin Fei, are you available now?" Juliet's voice came from the phone. Can you come to Wanxin Mall?" My girlfriend's voice was a bit unnatural, but Qin Fei, who was happy, didn't notice anything because they hadn't seen each other for almost a month. "Okay, I'll be right over." After speaking, Qin Fei immediately stopped a taxi on the roadside. Juliet was the girlfriend he talked about in his junior year, the class monitor, and also has a certain reputation in school. She has a delicate figure, fair skin, and beautiful appearance. What's important is that she doesn't care about her family background. After being with her, Qin Fei's vanity was once greatly satisfied. Unfortunately, after graduation, the two of them entered different companies, and their contact gradually decreased. But Qin Fei didn't give up on his girlfriend in his heart. He wanted to give her a better life through his hard work. He even prepared to propose to her after a while and walk into the hall of marriage. With an excited heart all the way, Qin Fei arrived at the destination. As soon as Qin Fei got off the car, he saw Julie from a distance. She was dressed in a pure white off-the-shoulder outfit and a pair of tight jeans, perfectly presenting her curvaceous figure. The passing male livestock cast stunning gazes. "Lily, I'm here." Qin Fei waved excitedly at Julie. But Juliet just forced a smile and then lowered her head. "Lily, didn't you have a good rest last night? I see that your face is a bit pale." Qin Fei walked forward and asked with a caring expression on his face. "No. No." Lowering her head, Juliet was a bit hesitant to look at Qin Fei. Coincidentally, at this moment, a man in a suit and leather shoes, with a big back, walked up from afar. He held 2 Starbucks coffee cups in his hand and saw Qin Fei and Juliet standing together, his eyebrows slightly furrowed. "Lily, is this your friend?" he asked. "He's my college classmate," said Juliet with an unnatural expression on her face. "Oh, both your classmate and my friend Qing Zifei." Speaking, Qing Zifei handed a cup of coffee to Juliet and then extended his hand to Qin Fei. "Hello, my name is Qing Zifei and I am currently the logistics manager of the Lin Group. Also Lily's boyfriend." Qing Zifei took the initiative to introduce himself. "Male. Boyfriend." Upon hearing this, Qin Fei, who was about to shake hands with Qing Zifei, suddenly became confused and his face turned pale. "Lily, what's going on here?" Qin Fei turned his gaze to Juliet, hoping she could give him an explanation. "What's going on? Lily, aren't you ordinary friends?" Qing Zifei seemed to have noticed something and began questioning Juliet. "Husband, he's the ex-boyfriend I mentioned to you before," said Juliet, taking the initiative to hold on to Qing Zifei's right hand. "Ex-boyfriend." This sentence was like a heavy hammer hitting Qin Fei's heart hard, causing him to step back a few steps, his face full of disbelief. He couldn't believe what was said from Juliet's mouth. "Oh. So he's just that poor dingjingling, trying to get your poor kid." Upon hearing Juliet's words, Qing Zifei's expression was no longer as friendly as before, but rather showed a hint of mockery. He has heard Juliet talk about Qin Fei more than once, licking his dog like a dog. Being together for 2 or 3 years without even holding hands, what kind of ex-boyfriend is this? In my opinion, I can't even count as an ordinary friend. Speaking, Qing Zifei lowered his head and deliberately boasted in Qin Fei's ear, "I'll tell you secretly that Lily's martial arts are amazing. I don't want to serve her, but unfortunately, you won't have the chance to taste them. Dog men and women." Upon hearing these words, Qin Fei's veins on his forehead erupted, and he wished he could punch Qing Zifei's foul mouth. "Huh, what a humble and pitiful creature." Seeing Qin Fei's appearance, Qing Zifei burst out laughing wildly. "Juliet, I hope you can give me an explanation today." Ignoring Qing Zifei, Qin Fei still held the last glimmer of hope in his heart. But Juliet's next words shattered everything he had. "Qin Fei, I called you over today just to say goodbye to you in person. We're not suitable, there won't be a future together." Taking a deep breath, Juliet lifted her head. The matter had come to an end, and she had nothing to hide. He. Upon hearing these words, Qin Fei sneered coldly and said, "Touch your conscience. Do you do this to me? When you said you wanted to buy cosmetics during school, I saved my meal money and secretly gave it to you. As a result, I ate instant noodles and almost went to the hospital. After graduation, you are going to interview with Lin Group, and I gave you the opportunity. But what about you, cheating behind my back? You've changed, I don't even know you anymore. Qin Feiyue became more and more excited, attracting many onlookers to point and point. This woman looks pretty, but she didn't expect to wear a green hat on her boyfriend. In my opinion, what's the difference between a woman who is fickle and someone who sits on stage? That's right, having a good skin, but not doing human affairs. The insults from the people around her made Julie feel ashamed and embarrassed, but as she watched Qin Feiyue speak more and more vigorously, her anger was also stirred up in her heart. That's enough. She interrupted Qin Fei's words with a loud shout. Over the years, every time I've had a birthday, you can't even give me a decent gift and say you'll give me another one, but have you made it up? Which woman in the world doesn't want to pursue a better material life? I've had enough of this kind of life where I've had my last meal. You stinky loser doesn't deserve me at all. Juliet's sharpness and harshness made Qin Fei's eyes wide open, making it hard to imagine hearing these words from her mouth. At this moment, his whole body was icy cold. But after a moment, Qin Fei returned to normal because others no longer took him seriously. Why did he continue to be deeply involved? Disliking poverty and loving wealth can make you speak so fresh and refined. Juliet, you really opened my eyes today. I used to be too naive and misjudged you. There was no need for you to break up with me. Starting today, you will follow your path and I will cross my own bridge. There will be no further connection between you and me. Qin Fei's voice was resounding and powerful, without any trace of the pain of breaking up. He had already planned to tell her what had happened to him today, but now it seems that it is no longer necessary. Who are you at the peak when you are not at the low point? It would be better to see the true face of this woman earlier. Chapter 5. Group Performance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yo, you're not very skilled, and your tone is not bad. Those who don't know think you're a billionaire. At this moment, Cheng Zifei's cold laughter rang out. He picked up Qin Fei's thin shirt with his hand and said, "Look at your face full of poverty. I'm afraid this tattered clothes won't cost you 50 yuan, right? Even if it's only 1 yuan, it's all I earned through my hard work. It's none of your business." Qin Fei slapped off Cheng Zifei's dog paw and said coldly. Qin Fei couldn't have a good expression on this guy, because the contempt in his eyes had always existed from the beginning. Humph, I've lived like this and even dreamed of talking about girlfriends. According to me, poor people should have the consciousness of being poor. Are women something you can touch? Cheng Zifei snorted coldly. There's no need to look for superiority here. You're so skilled, didn't you still pick up my broken shoes? Qin Fei glanced at him and said. Grass, keep your mouth clean. Upon hearing these words, Cheng Zifei's face suddenly darkened. Qin Fei, if we break up, we'll break up. Your words are too poisonous, aren't they? Juliet couldn't bear to watch anymore and said a word. Is it poisonous? Qin Fei disapproved and said, compared to the harm you just caused me, I don't think it's even 1,000th. If you have a boyfriend and even go out to hook up with other men, in ancient times, you would definitely not escape the fate of being immersed in a pig cage. You. Juliet never expected Qin Fei's mouth to be so malicious, and her words fell silent for a moment. It looks particularly aggrieved. Lily, there's no need to get angry with him. He's just a trash who can only show off his words. Cheng Zifei hugged Cheng Lily into his arms and deliberately pinched Zhu Lily somewhere in front of Qin Fei. But when his gaze saw the shoulder bag on Juliet's back, he suddenly had a new idea. He deliberately tugged at Zhu Lily's shoulder bag and said, look at this Chanel bag. It costs 50,000 yuan. I'm afraid some poor guy can't afford it even if he doesn't eat or drink for a year, right? Are you sure it's 50,000 instead of 500? A golden light flashed in his eyes, and Qin Fei asked with a smile on his face. He had already scanned the inside of the bag with perspective, and from the outside alone, it was indeed well-made Chanel shoulder bag, but in a layer inside, it was clearly marked as produced locally. This kind of thing is commonly known as the goods. What do you mean by that? Qing Zifei asked with a calm face. I think you should understand. Is it necessary for me to use a fake product to deceive my girlfriend, as my annual salary is 500,000 yuan? Qing Zifei deliberately raised his voice when speaking. But it was precisely his almost covert approach that made Julie also look at him with suspicion. But as soon as she thought Qin Fei was right in front of her, she hugged Qing Zifei's arm and sweetly said, I believe you. What a pair of adulterous men and women. We have already broken up and Juliet has nothing worth Qin Fei's nostalgia for, so he turned around and had to leave. But at this moment, Qing Zifei stood in front of him and said, Did you let go? What do you want? Qin Fei looked straight at Qing Zifei, his patience almost worn out. I heard that Lily gave you a smartphone worth over 5,000 yuan 6 months ago, but it took her several months to save. Now that she's going to break up, do you need to spend this money on it? Juliet, is that also what you mean? Qin Fei turned around and glanced at Juliet. Julie didn't speak, and at this moment, silence was the default. In the past 3 years, my expenses on her have already exceeded 10,000. If you insist on accounting like this, will you have to give me 5,000? Qin Fei pointed at Juliet and said. It's only natural for men to spend money on women. I don't think you can get these 5,000, that's why you insist on reasoning, right? Qing Zifei sneered. Qin Fei dares to say that he bought fake goods, so naturally he wants to make Qin Fei unable to come down. He predicted that Qin Fei would not be able to come up with the money. What's going on? Can't you come up with the money? Then kneel down and kowtow 3 heads to me. I'll help you out with this money. How about that? Seeing Qin Fei not speaking, Qing Zifei became even more enthusiastic. Excuse me, are you a little miracle doctor? At this moment, several people in suits walked up, led by Lin Guanyuan. It has to be said that these top billionaires are indeed skilled in gathering information. When they arrived, they had already had someone obtain the surveillance video of the car accident at that time. And quickly used means to find the location of Qin Fei. Are you? Looking at the other person, Qin Fei searched his memory and found that he didn't know them. Let me introduce myself. I am the general manager of Lin Group, and my name is... Ha ha ha. Just as Lin Guanyuan was about to introduce his name, a burst of laughter suddenly interrupted his conversation. It was Qing Zifei. Qin Fei, are you going to laugh me to death? For the sake of so-called face saving, you actually hired a group of actors specifically. Lin Guanyuan holds a high position of power and often talks about business outside. In addition, since Qing Zifei has just joined the company, he has never seen Lin Guanyuan at all. Of course, he is more willing to believe that as Qin Fei, it is impossible to know the general manager of Lin Group. 8 sticks cannot be hit together. This must be acting without a doubt. On the side, Juliet also shook her head in disappointment. He didn't expect Qin Fei to be able to do such a thing. What kind of people are you? When someone interrupted his speech, Lin Guanyuan's brow furrowed. Who am I? It's not your turn to perform in a group. Just now, you said you're the general manager of Lin Group, and I work for Lin Group. How come I've never seen you before? Qing Zifei joked. I haven't seen you either, Lin Guanyuan said. Of course you haven't met me, you're a knockoff. If you're the general manager of the Lin Group, I even said I'm the chairman of the Lin Group. Qing Zifei sneered. Bastard. Upon hearing these words, the 2 bodyguards behind Lin Guanyuan were furious and ready to take action. But at this moment, Lin Guanyuan raised his hand to stop them. He wanted to see what tricks Qing Zifei could play with. Young man, there is a saying that goes misfortune comes from the mouth. Have you ever heard of it? Lin Guangyuan looked at Cheng Zifei and asked calmly. Oh, you think you're threatening me, but I'm afraid of you, right? Tell me, how much did Qin Fei spend on inviting you to come and act? Cheng Zifei hugged his chest with both hands and sneered. This number. Lin Guangyuan extended a finger. 100 yuan. You underestimate Mr. Lin's appearance fee too much. Mr. Qin Fei spent 10 million yuan to invite me to come and act. Upon hearing these words, the scene suddenly came to a standstill. After a moment, Cheng Zifei covered his stomach and burst out laughing. This is the funniest joke I've ever heard this year. This person surnamed Qin can't even give out 5,000 yuan, but you said he invited you to act with 10 million yuan. After speaking, Cheng Zifei's face suddenly turned cold and he sarcastically said, even if you don't pee and look in the mirror, are you worth 10 million? Bold. Seeing the general manager being insulted like this, a bodyguard beside Lin Guangyuan couldn't help but take a step forward. A cold breath spread from him in all directions, causing Cheng Zifei's body to tremble in shock. But he wasn't scared too much, especially when Juliet was still on the side. He didn't want to take a step back. I warn you, I am the head of the logistics department of the Lin Group. If you dare to hit me, I will make it difficult for you to leave. Believe it or not. He stared at Lin Guanyuan's bodyguard with both eyes, looking even more fierce than the other person. Originally, it was just a mere supervisor. At this moment, Lin Guanyuan spoke and saw him take out his phone and quickly make a phone call. After a moment, he hung up the phone and said to Cheng Zifei, from now on, you have been fired by the Lin Group. Act, you continue to act. Cheng Zifei also heard the phone call just now, and it was nothing more than firing him, but he had to believe it. At this moment, he even admired these group performances a bit, they were truly dedicated. Zifei, what are you doing here? Just then, a voice rang out not far away, and the speaker was a chubby man with a big belly. Seeing the newcomer, Cheng Zifei's face lit up with joy. Because the person who came was actually his uncle, who was also the manager of the logistics department of the Lin Group. He was able to become a supervisor at the Lin Group solely through the support of the other party. Uncle, come here quickly. There's someone here who impersonates the general manager of the Lin Group. He excitedly waved to his uncle. Chapter 6. Self-inflicted sin cannot live. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Who dares such a big dog to impersonate someone from our company? Seeing that the person calling him was Cheng Zifei, Ding Jinkai walked up angrily. You're done. Glancing at Lin Guanyuan, Cheng Zifei exclaimed coldly. I don't know who finished it yet. When Lin Guanyuan saw the visitor, a meaningful smile appeared on his face. He doesn't know Cheng Zifei because his level is too low, and Dante Jean is different. As the manager of the company's logistics department, Lin Guanyuan naturally met him. Similarly, Ding Jinkai also knows the general manager of his own company. He originally walked up angrily, but when he saw Lin Guanyuan beside Qin Fei, the anger on his face disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. Replaced by a flattering smile, he ran up all the way. Mr. Lin, what a coincidence. I was able to meet you here, Ding Jinkai bowed respectfully. What? Upon hearing these words, Cheng Zifei, who was sneering, was struck by lightning. Uncle, did you mistake the person? He was a group performer invited by someone else, not the real Mr. Lin. Cheng Zifei couldn't believe everything was true and quickly called out to his uncle. Unexpectedly, after hearing his words, Ding Jin scolded and said, fuck your mother, Mr. Lin. How could I admit my mistake? Do you think I'm blind? After speaking, Ding Jinsai's phone in his hand suddenly rang. After finishing the phone call, Ding Jinkai first glanced at Lin Guanyuan, then turned to Cheng Zifei and said, the HR department of the company called, and you have been fired. No, impossible. Stepping back a few steps, Cheng Zifei felt his legs soften. If it weren't for Juliet supporting him, he might have collapsed on the ground. Seeing this scene, Ding Jinkai seemed to understand something and quickly looked at Cheng Zifei with a murderous gaze, shouting, "Tell me, did you offend Mr. Lin?" "How could he offend me? When I said I was the general manager of Lin Group, he didn't believe me and insisted that if I were the general manager, he would be the chairman." At this moment, Lin Guanyuan spoke calmly. "What?" Upon hearing these words, Ding Jinsai's face changed greatly, and he stumbled and almost fell to the ground. The chairman is Lin Guanyuan's biological father. Is Cheng Zifei crazy? "Dog thing, you can handle it now, right? I have to kill you today." Rolling up his sleeves, Ding Jinkai slapped Cheng Zifei in the face and then kicked him again. But in this way, he still felt unsatisfied and resorted to physical violence. "It's okay if you want to die, but don't take me with you." He now deeply regrets choosing to visit the mall during this time period. "You don't need to play any tough scenes in front of me. This person has a problem with their character. If I guess correctly, you should have taken them into the company, right?" Lin Guanyuan asked lightly at this moment. "Yes." In front of Lin Guanyuan, Ding Jin dared not lie and nodded. "So, after you go back, you can apply to the company for a halving of your annual salary, which can be considered a punishment. Is that okay?" "No." Upon hearing these words, Ding Jinsai's heart was dripping with blood, but he dared not reveal it. His annual salary will be halved, which means he will earn nearly 1 million less this year. 1 million, how many people can't earn so much in 10 years? Thinking of this, he directly locked his gaze on Cheng Zifei and rushed forward to start beating him. "I've long told you not to look at people with colored glasses. If you poke such a big basket out of me today, I'll kill you." It can be seen that Ding Jin really hit hard, punching to the flesh, causing Cheng Zifei to scream incessantly and his nose to bleed. "Oh, stop fighting, I dare not fight anymore." Cheng Zifei kept pleading for mercy. But the more he begged for mercy, the more ruthless Ding Jin acted, and Juliet on the side was too scared to go up and persuade. Seeing all of this, Qin Fei shook his head. As the saying goes, it is only natural to do evil, but to do evil oneself cannot live. Cheng Zifei asked for it on his own. Not worthy of sympathy. "Little miracle doctor, thank you for saving my father. Today I came specifically to thank you." At this moment, Lin Guanyuan approached Qin Fei and respectfully said, "Your father. The old man in the car accident today." Upon hearing these words, Qin Fei showed a puzzled expression. "That's right, it's because of your miraculous medical skills that my father has turned the tide." After speaking, he took out a check and a black card from his pocket. "Little miracle doctor, here is a 10 million check, along with a supreme VIP card from the Lin Group. Please make sure to accept it." "I can't do it, that's too much." Lin Guanyuan has been confirmed as the general manager of Lin Group, so Qin Fei has no doubt about the authenticity of this check. When saving the old man, he said he could give himself 10 million. At that time, Qin Fei didn't believe it, but now he can't even believe it anymore. "Little miracle doctor, life is priceless. This money is just pocket money for me, so you can accept it with peace of mind." He forcefully inserted the check and card into Qin Fei's hand. "Is that so?" Upon hearing Lin Guanyuan's words, Qin Fei hesitated as he was about to refuse. As someone from an ordinary family background, 10 million is undoubtedly a huge sum of money that cannot be imagined. Poor people have all dreamed of becoming rich overnight, and he is no exception. So after thinking about it, he accepted 2 things. With the Lin Group's Supreme VIP card, you can enjoy a 50% discount on any industry or product under our company, with no upper limit. The shopping mall in front of us happens to be one of the pillar industries of our Lin Group. "Thank you very much then." Upon hearing Lin Guanyuan's words, Qin Fei felt that the weight of this card seemed to be even heavier than the 10 million. Seeing this scene, Julie beside her was dumbfounded. Just kicked Qin Fei away, but in the blink of an eye, he became a wealthy man. 10 million yuan, even if it were exchanged for cash, it could kill people alive. It's like flying into the sky. Ding Jinkai, who was beating Cheng Zifei, saw that Lin Guanyuan had sent out the top VIP cards within the group, and he was on the verge of suffering from red-eye disease. You should know that looking at the entire city of Anhai, the number of people who can obtain this card will never exceed one slap. With this card, one can easily squeeze into the upper echelons of society in Anhai City. Little miracle doctor, do you think you can leave me a contact information? When Qin Fei was stunned, Lin Guanyuan quickly expressed his purpose for coming here. Line. They were all so generous, and Qin Fei gave the number very simply. Having obtained Qin Fei's handwritten phone number, Lin Guanyuan carefully collected it as if he had found a treasure. Little miracle doctor, when my dad is discharged, I hope you can come to my house as a guest. He sent out a sincere invitation. No problem, I will definitely go when I have time. My father is still in the hospital, so I'll take a step first. Lin Guanyuan quickly left the mall with his people. As he moved away, Qin Fei also prepared to turn around and leave. But at this moment, Juliet suddenly walked up and blocked the way. She blushed slightly and instinctively grabbed the corner of her clothes, saying, Xiaofei, I know you still have me in your heart. I regret it. I want to be with you again, okay? Do you think it's okay? Qin Fei sneered. Upon hearing this, Juliet became anxious and quickly said, I was also deceived by Cheng Zifei before. He deceived me by saying he wanted to marry me and buy me a house, but to my surprise, he didn't even want to give me a real bag. Please give me a chance to reform myself. I will definitely be wholeheartedly devoted to you in the future, okay? Juliet lowered her posture very low, which can be said that Qin Fei never thought she would have such a side, it really refreshed her cognition. It's a pity that the good horse didn't eat the grass. Now Qin Fei only sneers but also has a strong dislike for this woman. You have such thick skin. Similar to Xu Sol's. I am poor and cannot afford to serve a woman with high expectations like you. So you don't have to pretend to be in front of me either. It's really disgusting. After speaking, Qin Fei turned around and left, not giving Juliet a chance to speak again. Looking at Qin Fei's back, Julie became desperate. The opportunity to take one step to the sky was right in front of her, but she accidentally missed it. Thinking of this, her tears could no longer stop and she crouched down to cry bitterly. Crying Nima, it's all your fault that caused me to lose my job. I'll beat you to death. On the one hand, Ding Jinkai saw that everyone had already left and stopped beating Cheng Zifei. After all, he couldn't really kill his nephew. But who would have thought that just as he stopped, Cheng Zifei under him rushed to Juliet with a whoosh and slapped her. Chapter 3. The Heart of Attraction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1 hour later. Anhai First People's Hospital. A competition of time and life is underway, and the hospital's internal and external experts are all gathered in the emergency room because they are about to perform surgery on a big shot. Lin Zhenghai, the chairman of the Lin Group in Anhai City, has a net worth of billions. The hospital naturally attaches great importance to the admission of such an important person, and the dean personally handles the operation with the help of several vice deans. Nevertheless, this surgery took almost 4 hours to complete. As the emergency room door opened, a large group of people, at least 20.30, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately gathered around. Among them are people from the Lin Group Company, as well as some relatives of the Lin family. Dean, how is my father's situation? A man in a suit asked anxiously. He is the son of Lin Zhenghai and currently the general manager of Lin Group, Lin Guanyuan. Yeah, has the chairman recovered yet? Other executives of the Lin Group have also begun to speak up and express their concerns. The dean didn't even look at these people, but said to Lin Guanyuan, "You come with me. There's something I want to know from you." "Yes." With a heavy expression on his face, Lin Guanyuan had a vague idea in his heart. Upon arriving at the dean's office and closing the door, Lin Guanyuan asked directly, "Dean, if you have anything to say, just let me know. I am mentally prepared. My father was in a car accident and his injuries were extremely serious. As a son, he also understands that doctors are not always omnipotent, so he has prepared for the worst." Upon hearing this, Dean's brow furrowed and he immediately patted his forehead to understand. "Mr. Lin, I didn't call you to tell you any bad news. I'm afraid you misunderstood," he said with a smile. "So you sent me here for?" Upon hearing the dean's words, Lin Guanyuan was very puzzled. "It's like this, Mr. Lin's surgery was very successful. After a period of cultivation, he will recover without leaving any sequelae. I called you mainly to inquire about someone." "What person?" "During Lin's car accident, he suffered from severe internal bleeding. In theory, such a serious injury could not sustain the hospital, but an expert sealed his massive bleeding with a silver needle, which earned us valuable treatment time." "Is there this person?" Lin Guanyuan frowned slightly. He arrived at the hospital only 2 hours ago and was unaware of the specific details of the car accident, let alone the presence of Qin Fei. As the dean said, this expert is probably the true savior of his father. "Don't you know?" Seeing the change in Lin Guanyuan's expression, the smile on the dean's face froze. "I rushed directly to the hospital from the airport," Lin Guanyuan shook his head. Upon hearing these words, the dean couldn't help but show a look of regret on his face. It is unheard of to use silver needles to seal acupoints to stop massive bleeding. If such divine doctors can settle in hospitals, it can definitely take their hospital's reputation to the next level. But nothing can be forced. Lin Guanyuan was unaware of the situation, so he didn't ask much and could only give up. "Dean, thank you for saving my father. This is a little token of my gratitude." Seeing the dean not speaking, Lin Guanyuan directly took out a check. Unexpectedly, the dean didn't even look at the check and said, "Your Lin Group donates medical equipment to our hospital every year. How could we accept your money? Take it back." "Okay, I'll donate another batch of medical equipment to you in the name of the company after a while." They didn't want it, and Lin Guanyuan didn't persist either. After briefly understanding his father's surgical situation, he went to the special care unit. In the ward, Lin Zhenghai has already woken up. Although he has just undergone a major surgery, his mental state is still good and he is chatting with a senior executive of the group. "Mr. Lin." When Lin Guanyuan returned, everyone in the room called out. "There's nothing for you here, let's all go back." Lin Guanyuan waved his hand. "Chairman, please rest well and we will come to see you again in a few days." Lin Guanyuan ordered to leave, so the others naturally didn't stay much. After a few pleasantries, they all got up and left. Soon, only Lin Guanyuan and his son were left in the ward. "Dad, but did the Li family send someone to do it?" Looking at the gauze wrapped all over his father's body, Lin Guanyuan couldn't hide his anger and wished to rush into the Li family to kill him 3 times in and 3 times out. "Xiaoyuan, don't worry about the Li family. You go help me find someone first," Lin Zhenghai said very seriously. "Who are you looking for?" "My life saving benefactor. But the person who saved you with a silver needle." Upon hearing these words, Lin Zhenghai was surprised and asked, "Do you already know?" "The dean told me." "Xiaoyuan, from childhood to adulthood, I have taught you to show gratitude and repay kindness. This time, we owe them a huge favor." As he spoke, Lin Zhenghai roughly recounted what had happened before. Although he was unconscious at the time, he could feel that Qin Fei had saved him, and he still remembers the icy and cool feeling of the needle. It's like the dry earth suddenly being nourished by rainwater. It's truly amazing. I won't let go of the Li family's bastards. Upon hearing his father's words, Li Guangyuan was so angry that his veins were bulging on his forehead, and he punched the wall. It was both a car accident and a killer, giving him no chance of survival. Fortunately, my father ran into Qin Fei, otherwise the consequences would be unimaginable. Dad, don't worry, I'll send someone to find the little miracle doctor right away. Lin Guangyuan dared not disobey his father's wishes and immediately agreed. But as soon as he finished speaking, Lin Zhenghai shook his head and said, Xiaoyuan, you have been exceptionally intelligent since you were young. How could you be confused at this time? This little miracle doctor not only has superb medical skills, but from my observation, he may also have considerable accomplishments in martial arts. We in the Lin family must spare no effort to win over such people. Remember, it must be at all costs. Still a martial arts master. Upon hearing these words, Lin Guangyuan was momentarily stunned, and then showed a look of great surprise. My father had once indulged in martial arts, and his physique was different from that of an ordinary person. He had also practiced it himself, so he knew very well how powerful a martial arts master's deterrence was. It can be said that if the Lin family had a martial arts master sitting in charge, given 100 courage, the Li family would not dare to make any small moves to deal with them. Because a martial arts master can easily destroy families like the Li family. Dad, I understand. Please rest well first, and I will personally lead the team to find someone. His father's words were like a dose of tonic injected into his heart, and at the same time, he also developed a strong curiosity about this little miracle doctor whom he had never met before. Remember, you must go with the sincerity of our Lin family, Lin Zhenghai said, afraid of his son's recklessness. Yes. Chapter 2. Silver Needle Sealing Acupoints. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With 4 eyes facing each other and a charming atmosphere, Qin Fei didn't expect the other party to be so bold. Seeing the other person's red lips already pointing towards him, Qin Fei's heart trembled and he quickly broke free. I understand your kindness, sister. I'll come back next time to show my filial piety to you. After speaking, he ran towards the door with his clothes on, and ran out of the door in a panic before he could even put on his shoes. Qin Fei ran out of the demon cave all the way, standing at the entrance of the alley, panting heavily. Recalling just now, both inheritance and seduction, Qin Fei's mood was as thrilling as a roller coaster. It took him a while for his mood to calm down. I came to a small shop on the street and bought a bottle of cola. Just as I unscrewed the lid and was ready to drink, suddenly a large truck crossing the intersection in front of me collided with a black small car that was driving normally on the road. The violent impact sound was like shooting a mountain, and a large truck with a speed of nearly 100 hours hit the car and rolled it on the ground for more than 10 laps. Finally, 4 wheels turned upwards and stopped 5 meters away from Qin Fei. Qin Fei was dumbfounded, and the cola in his hand was so scared that it fell to the ground, his face turning pale. At such a close distance, if the car rolls a few more laps, he will definitely suffer. The windshield of the car was completely shattered, and when Qin Fei looked in the direction, he could see the car driver half hanging from the driver's seat with blood on his face. Help! Help me! He let out a faint cry for help in his mouth, but just as he lifted his hand, it immediately hung straight down. A piece of glass pierced his heart and he died on the spot. The serious car accident scared pedestrians to flee everywhere, with constant screams. At this moment, Qin Fei noticed a blood man slowly crawling out of the car. Perhaps the injury was too severe. After climbing a few times, he lay on the ground, struggling in pain. Above his head, the rotten fuel tank was constantly leaking gasoline. Seeing this scene, Qin Fei gritted his teeth and immediately rushed forward. Glancing into the car, there was no one in the back seat, just him and the driver. Dragging the person to the side of the road, Qin Fei had not even had time to catch his breath when suddenly a earth-shattering explosion came from a vehicle that had just overturned on the ground. Grass, fortunately I move quickly. Seeing this scene, Qin Fei's heart was filled with fear. Take me away. At this moment, a painful voice came from in front of him. Looking down, it was the person he had saved who spoke again. This person is around 67 years old, with bruises all over his body. It's hard to imagine that such an elderly person could survive this car accident. Life force is indeed tenacious. Old man, you are seriously injured and not suitable for moving. Let's wait here for the ambulance to arrive. There are many pedestrians coming and going here, and Qin Fei believes that someone must have already called the police. But then his arms suddenly tightened, and the other party grabbed him tightly and said, "Take me away, I'll give you 10 million. 10 million. Ghost coins." Qin Fei looked at the other person in surprise. Sitting in an ordinary Volkswagen Jetta, he said he wanted to give himself 10 million yuan. Isn't this too fake? Someone wants to kill me, take me away quickly. The old man's face showed a hint of pleading. Let's go. You can't go anywhere today. At this moment, suddenly two strong men dressed in black walked up from afar. Their faces were cold and stern, with no trace of emotion in their eyes, indifferent as if they were a weapon. Centered around them, Qin Fei even felt the temperature around him drop out of thin air. Young man, thank you for saving me today. They came for me, you go. The man in black appeared, and the old man next to Qin Fei knew there was no hope of escaping, so he pushed Qin Fei. But Qin Fei's body seemed to be rooted in the ground, and he couldn't push it. Don't worry, there are surveillance cameras everywhere here, they dare not do anything about it. Qin Fei patted the old man's hand, indicating that he should not be afraid. You are confused. The old man sighed and said, they are assassins who came specifically to kill me. What? Killer. Upon hearing this, Qin Fei's face suddenly changed and he looked at the two of them. I warn you, killing is illegal, you. Let's kill together. Before Qin Fei could finish speaking, the two black-clothed men had already shown their daggers. One of the daggers stabbed directly at Qin Fei's chest. Damn it. Assassination in broad daylight was something Qin Fei dared not even think about. In an instant, his entire body was covered in sweat and hair. In a state of urgency, his first reaction was to grab the opponent's wrist and prevent the perpetrator. Click. Qin Fei felt as if he had crushed something. Immediately after, the assassin in front of him held hands and screamed in agony. His wrist was severely deformed, and his dagger fell to the ground, leaving Qin Fei stunned. Isn't this hand made of tofu? Seeking death. The other assassin immediately gave up the opportunity to kill the target and turned around to stab Qin Fei's head with a knife. Seeing the dagger strike, Qin Fei reacted quickly. On one side of his body, he dodged the dagger while sweeping the whole leg. Ah! A scream came from the other person's mouth, and he was swept away 5 or 6 meters before finally hitting a willow tree. His eyes turned white and he struggled several times before getting up. His bones have broken many times. Withdraw. Qin Fei's abnormality caught the two assassins off guard, so they immediately fled the scene. Thank you. A crisis was resolved, and the old man also breathed a long sigh of relief. He didn't expect this seemingly weak young man to have such terrifying skills. But it was precisely because of his relieved breath that he opened his mouth and spewed out a mouthful of blood, and then he fell straight to the ground, his face full of pain. Hey, what's wrong with you? Seeing this scene, Qin Fei's face changed slightly, speculating that the old man might have suffered an outbreak of injury. As expected, after a careful examination, Qin Fei found that the old man not only had a few broken ribs, but also suffered from massive bleeding in his body. If the bleeding cannot be stopped in time, he will probably die in less than 5 minutes. You're lucky to meet me. If it were before, facing this scene, I would probably have had to watch the other person die, but now it's different, he has obtained a mysterious and unpredictable inheritance. I bought a box of silver needles from a nearby traditional Chinese medicine store, and Qin Fei started directly administering them. Saving someone is like extinguishing a fire, it cannot be delayed for a moment. First is the trembling acupoint, followed by the Wui acupoint and the Xueqing acupoint. 7 consecutive shots fell like lightning, scattered yet echoing each other, forming a mysterious formation. After a moment, the old man's face slowly returned to normal, and the bleeding in his body temporarily stopped. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Qin Fei breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. At this moment, the alarms sounded and the traffic police and ambulance arrived. Afraid of causing any unnecessary trouble, Qin Fei put away the silver needle box and turned around to leave. But just a few steps away, he suddenly stepped on a 100-yuan bill. He looked around and saw that there were not many people around. He immediately picked up the money and rushed to a nearby tree. It seems that saving people is not without any benefits, this wave of blood earned. Excitedly, he took out the money and looked directly at it. It was indeed good money, but when he reversed the money, he was so angry that he cursed loudly. I'll go to your uncle's house. Chapter 7. Lu Xueqing. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At the entrance of a bank in Anhai City. Looking at the long string of text message numbers on his phone, Qin Fei still felt like he was dreaming. The whole person is light and ethereal. This money came too easily, like pie falling from the sky. But soon he became calm and knew that the door to wealth had opened to him, with a mysterious inheritance in hand, and the money in his hands would only increase. This is nothing. Thinking of this, he took a taxi and headed straight to the small nest he rented in the city village. The house is a small courtyard with 1 bedroom and 1 living room, and it also has a vegetable field. When he has free time, he can also grow some organic vegetables and feel at ease. In an international metropolis like Anhai, Qin Fei feels very satisfied with such accommodation conditions. Moreover, the rent is not expensive, only 500 yuan per month. Qin Fei, do you have any fun toys today? Suddenly, a little girl with powder carving and jade carving poked her head out of the door and playfully asked. I'm not lucky today. I didn't receive anything good, but I have a lollipop. Speaking, Qin Fei seemed to be performing a trick and took out 2 lollipops from behind. Thank you, brother. Taking the sugar, the little girl smiled happily. It's okay, my brother will buy you some new toys tomorrow. Qin Fei touched the little girl's head and a smile appeared on her face. The little girl's name is Lu Sisi, and she is a tenant next door. Although she is only 6 years old, she is particularly sensible. Unfortunately, her fate is not good, and her father is a gambler. Due to owing high-interest loans, she was already sent in earlier years. In a fit of anger, her mother directly let her daughter take her surname. But it's not as easy for single mothers to take care of their children. While they have to earn money, their children also face the problem of no one to pick them up. Fortunately, Xiaoxi is sensible and always goes to and from school on her own. Then stay at home obediently and wait for my mother to come back. Looking at her, Qin Fei felt particularly sorry in his heart. He was such a hard-working child. Mom hasn't finished work yet. Qin Fei asked. When my mother left in the morning, she said she might come back later today. Can I play with you for a while? I'm a bit afraid of the dark. Xiaoxi lowered her head and asked with some embarrassment. Come on in, play as long as you want, brother will cook for you. Thank you, brother. Speaking, Xiaoxi quickly walked in and happily bounced back and forth in the yard. After dinner, around 9 o'clock, a tall woman wearing a black tube skirt arrived at Qin Fei's doorstep. She is Xiaoxi's mother, Lu Xueqing. Due to long-term fatigue, she looks much more haggard than a normal person. Originally only a few years older than Qin Fei, she looks like a person in her 30s. Even so, her charm is still unmatched by ordinary women. It's really beautiful. Qin Fei sometimes curses in his heart that a man is not a good thing, and that marrying such a beautiful wife and still fooling around outside is simply a blessing in disguise. Xiao Sisi, it's time we went home. She let out a soft call at the door. Sisi just got tired of playing and has already fallen asleep. At this moment, Qin Fei walked out of the room and said. Through the dim streetlights, he could see the blush on Lu Xueqing's face. He probably drank a lot of alcohol at night, adding a touch of charm. Xiaofei, thank you. I've caused you trouble again, Lu Xueqing said with her head lowered. It's okay, Xiao Sisi is so cute. How could she be said to be causing trouble? I wish she came to play with me every day. After speaking, suddenly Qin Fei keenly saw a clear palm print on Lu Xueqing's left cheek. Sister Xueqing, who hit you? Qin Fei's gaze revealed danger. These scumbags, it's already hard enough for them to take care of their children alone, and they even hit people. It's simply not human. No, it's okay. Lu Xueqing instinctively dodged her gaze before saying, please help me take Sisi out. If you really encounter any unresolved trouble, tell me, maybe I can help. Lu Xueqing didn't want to say anything, and Qin Fei didn't ask too many questions wisely. Instead, he turned around and went back to the room to pick up Xiao Sisi. Thank you today. The salary will be paid at the end of the month, and I will treat you to a meal. After repeatedly expressing her gratitude, Lu Xueqing carried Xiaoxi into the neighboring courtyard. Returning home and sitting on the bed, Qin Fei did not sleep. Instead, he retrieved the inherited technique, condensing qi technique, obtained during the day from his mind. The reason why he was able to use silver needles to seal the acupoints to stop Lin Zhenghai's massive bleeding was not only due to the techniques of traditional Chinese medicine, but more importantly, by coordinating with the true qi in his body. The same goes for Twina. So the role of true qi is clearly a matter of opinion. And true qi can strengthen the body, giving people incredible power. During the day, he was able to easily deal with those two assassins because his true qi had strengthened his body. According to the description in the inheritance, cultivation is divided into 3 stages. Qi gathering, concentration, and innate realm, each of which is further subdivided into the middle and later stages. He is now able to defeat the assassin without even reaching the initial stage of gathering qi. If he goes further, wouldn't he be invincible in the world? Thinking of this, Qin Fei couldn't help but get excited and couldn't wait to activate the condensing qi technique. Waves of invisible white gas are poured into the Baihui acupoint, slowly flowing to the limbs and bones, providing a refreshing sensation. That feeling is like the sun in winter, warm all over. Quickly, Qin Fei couldn't help but become addicted to it, forgetting the passage of time. At this time, in a high-end villa in Anhai City. Master, the assassination mission has failed. A man in black half knelt in front of an elderly man with graying hair and said in terror. So well prepared, how could it fail? The person with gray hair was named Li Heng, the chairman of the Li Group in Anhai City. His face showed no signs of joy, anger, sorrow, or joy, but the more so, the more afraid the person kneeling on the ground became. The plan was originally successful, but halfway through, a young man was killed from somewhere. He saved Lin Zhenghai, said the man in black. Oh. Li Heng looked at the man in black with confusion and said, why can't he even be a professional assassin? According to the news that came back, this person was born with divine power, which led to the defeat. He took out an A4 paper and said, this is all his information. Qin Fei, 24 years old. My father went missing when I was young, and I grew up with my mother's help. I attended Anhai University affiliated middle school and Anhai University. After graduation, I joined Xingtian Company and was dismissed 2 months later. After reading it, suddenly Li Heng smashed the paper onto the other person's head and angrily rebuked, "Is this the news you came back from your inquiry? A bunch of foodies. How could an ordinary person deal with two assassins? The information is obviously fake. Let someone go to his address to explore the truth. Remember, it's best not to act rashly. Understood." Kneeling on the ground, he was so frightened that he almost rolled away from the villa. As soon as he left, Li Heng sat on the leather sofa with a gloomy expression on his face. In order to kill his old rival, he had been planning for a long time. To be safe, he even spent a lot of money hiring two assassins, but no one expected to be destroyed by an unknown boy at a critical moment. If Qin Fei's experience is as simple as it is written in the documents, he doesn't mind sending him back to the West. What about innate divine power? Facing firearms, one must die the same way. Chapter 8. Inverting Black and White. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day. Early in the morning, Qin Fei woke up. Although he hadn't slept all night, he didn't feel tired at all, but instead was full of energy. There is a set of moves called Ba Quan in the inheritance, which, when combined with true Qi, can instantly increase his combat power to the maximum. As the saying goes, a good horse with a good saddle, he has no reason not to learn. As a beginner, it took him a lot of effort to find the way. At this point, the sun has already risen high. Next door, Xueqing has already packed herself up and is ready to go to work. "Qin Fei, I'm going to school. Goodbye." At the door, the clever and ghostly little Cici waved at Qin Fei. "Goodbye, see you tonight," Qin Fei smiled slightly. "Thank you last night." At this moment, Xueqing also spoke up. "It's nothing, it's just a small matter," Qin Fei waved his hand. "Alright, you don't have to wait until the end of the month. Come to my house tonight and I'll cook for you," said Xueqing. "I'll be more respectful than obedient," Qin Fei grinned. Xueqing's cooking skills are good, comparable to that of a hotel chef. The last time she went to their house for a meal was 2 months ago. It's really nostalgic to think about it. After the mother and daughter left, Qin Fei also went home to wash up. Today, he wants to go to the largest medicinal herb market in Anhai City. By absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he can indeed become stronger, but this speed is too slow, and I don't know when he can break through to the initial stage of gathering energy. Some older medicinal herbs contain rich spiritual energy, which can save a lot of cultivation time if consumed. He wants to try his luck. Taking a taxi to the herbal medicine market, Qin Fei smelled a scent of medicine from afar. Looking ahead, there was a constant stream of people buying medicinal herbs and seeking medical treatment, and the scene was lively and extraordinary. "Handsome guy, do you want to buy medicine?" At this moment, a skinny man rushed over and said to Qin Fei, frowning and winking. "What good thing is there?" Qin Fei tilted his head and asked. "Of course there is." The skinny man chuckled and then lifted his coat. "Look what you want." With a glance, he saw countless pockets sewn into his coat, containing various miscellaneous items. Even Qin Fei saw a bottle with the words "Strong Man Water" written on it. This Nima. The beef is simply not right. Roll and roll. Impatiently waving his hand, Qin Fei didn't expect the person selling this kind of thing to even take a glance at him. Doesn't he look like he should have the masculinity of a man? What bad luck. If you don't buy, then don't buy. Why curse? He muttered 2 words in his mouth, and the skinny man didn't continue to pester Qin Fei, but instead went to pester the next guest. "This fierce man, do you want to buy medicine?" After passing through the entrance of the traditional Chinese medicine market, Qin Fei went directly to those fixed medicinal herb shops. After circling around, he was disappointed. He never saw a tall medicinal herb, not to mention 10 years, not even 5 years. Just as Qin Fei was about to leave the market in disappointment, suddenly an old farmer at the entrance of a shop attracted him. In his gaze, he could see a layer of emerald green light shining on the old man's body. That is the transformation of rich spiritual energy. With a jolt of his body, he walked up quickly. At this moment, the old farmer is selling the treasures he brought in a traditional Chinese medicine shop. "Boss, do you collect medicinal herbs here?" "Okay, but it depends on what you're selling." The pharmacy clerk glanced at the other person and said disdainfully, "It's the treasure I dug up in the mountains." As he spoke, the old farmer slowly untied the cloth bag he had brought with him, and inside was a ginseng tree stained with soil. "It seems that it has only been unearthed recently." Seeing what was inside, the waiter's body shook and he immediately became mentally alert. However, soon he reacted again and sneered, "Old man, this thing looks like it's for cultivation. I can only offer 2,000 yuan. "What? 2,000 yuan? Upon hearing these words, the old farmer exclaimed in surprise and quickly put away his things, saying, "It's impossible. Based on my experience, this ginseng is at least 50 years old. It's too cheap for me to sell." "Okay, for your pitiful sake, I'll give you 20,000 yuan. Are you satisfied with this?" the guy sneered. No, it's too cheap." The old man continued to shake his head. "Is it really not for sale?" the waiter shouted coldly. "Not for sale, I'm leaving." The old farmer turned around and wanted to leave. But the pharmacy assistant moved faster, blocking in front of the opponent and shouting, "Catch the thief. There's a thief. Where is the thief?" Upon hearing these words, the other staff in the store immediately gathered around and blocked the exit. "Old thing, you stole something from our store and still want to leave. Hurry up and put down the things in your hand. You're just bullying people too much." Seeing this scene, the old farmer was so angry that his body was trembling. He didn't expect these people to turn black and white upside down and falsely accuse him of stealing. "Stop talking nonsense and get the people into the warehouse first." A few people were pushing and shoving the old farmer back one after another, indicating that they were really planning to take action on what the old farmer was holding. The old farmer was weak, coupled with his advanced age. He had not taken 2 steps back when he suddenly fell and sat on the ground. However, his calloused hands were tightly protecting the things in his hands, tears streaming down his face. He just wanted to exchange the things in his hand for money to go back and help his wife recover, but he didn't expect to run into this group of scoundrels. "Cry a few times, why don't you bring me the things?" One of them reached out to snatch the thing from the old man's hand, being extremely arrogant. Seeing this scene, Qin Fei's face suddenly turned cold. He didn't expect to encounter such a situation under the blue sky and white clouds. Without even thinking, he walked straight into the pharmacy. "Stop it." Chapter 88. Refining Body. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 10. Get out of this street. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Are you also studying traditional Chinese medicine? Turning around, Zheng Xianghua asked in a surprised tone. Is it strange? Qin Fei asked in reverse. It's not surprising, it's just your age. Zheng Xianghua hesitated to speak. What a fart. Those who have achieved success in learning traditional Chinese medicine, which one is not a bunch of white beards? Are you the only one studying traditional Chinese medicine? I think even the hair hasn't grown up yet. The boss's son took on his unfinished words. Pop. But the price he paid for chewing his tongue recklessly was being slapped by Qin Fei, causing him to spin around in place several times and his mind to go dizzy. My mouth smells so bad, it's time to go to the dental department to see it, Qin Fei said lightly. Do you? Dare you still hit me? Covering his face, the boss's son's eyes widened wide. In front of his father and so many thugs, Qin Fei dared to take action, which is not enough to describe him as arrogant. It's simply audacious. Seeking death. On the side, the boss naturally witnessed the entire process of his son being beaten with his own eyes. The volcano in my heart erupted almost instantly. Up. I'm responsible for killing or maiming you, he shouted loudly. Boss Lu, I'm still here. Is there anything I can't wait until I finish speaking? At this moment, Zheng Xianghua stomped his feet and frowned, saying. Qin Fei was able to accurately state the purpose of his purchase of these medicinal herbs, which is enough to demonstrate his medical expertise. Without obtaining 100-year-old wild ginseng, he really wanted to hear Qin Fei's opinion. So how could he allow so many people to surround Qin Fei? What if it's broken? Of course, Qin Fei is too young, even if he has studied traditional Chinese medicine, he may only know a little. He is now completely holding a belief that he would rather believe what he has than believe what he has. Anyway, it won't hurt to listen. Dr. Zheng, this guy looks like a scammer at first glance. Don't fall for him. The boss was in a hurry and shouted loudly. Yeah, his words are absolutely untrustworthy. The boss's son also agreed. Young man, could you just tell me the purpose of using these medicinal herbs? Do you have any ideas? Ignoring the father and son, Zheng Xianghua looked at Qin Fei. In my opinion, extending one's life is purely a waste of money, why not cure it all at once? If you want to prolong your life, you need to take various high-aged medicinal herbs, and these treasures all use one plant less than one. They don't care, and Qin Fei also cares for them. What do you mean? Can you cure it? Zheng Xianghua was so shocked by Qin Fei's words that he took a cold breath. As long as there's still a breath left, there shouldn't be too much of a problem, right? After thinking for a moment, Qin Fei said. Ha ha ha, let's go, I beg you to step forward once. Upon hearing Qin Fei's words, Zheng Xianghua was like a drowning person grabbing a life-saving straw, reaching out to catch Qin Fei. Qin Fei dodged on one side of his body. I just said I can cure it, but I didn't say I must help you. Don't worry, I won't let you go for nothing. Just let me know if you need anything, Zheng Xianghua said with great magnanimity. Do you have high-aged medicinal herbs? Regardless of the type. Qin Fei raised the wild ginseng in his hand. There are definitely no top-quality plants like yours, but there are also a few that are over 50 years old. As long as you are willing to help and heal, those things are all yours. Okay, make a deal. It took Qin Fei a long time to obtain one of the old medicinal herbs here. If Zheng Xianghua had one, it would be the best. So he agreed. My old friend is already critically ill, let's go now. Zheng Xianghua didn't want to delay for a minute, while on the side, the shop owner and others were all dumbfounded. No one expected Qin Fei to become a guest of honor for Zheng Xianghua in the blink of an eye. If that's the case, giving them 10 courage wouldn't dare to do anything to Qin Fei. Wait a minute. At this moment, Qin Fei stopped Zheng Xianghua and said, before leaving, I have to deal with a small matter. As he spoke, he coldly glanced at the people in the store and said to Zheng Xianghua, these people are relying on the store to bully customers and even engage in forced buying and selling business. What do you think should be done? Is there such a thing? Upon hearing these words, Zheng Xianghua's face showed a hint of darkness. You should know that he was able to choose this place to purchase medicinal herbs for a long time, which is because he valued their family's integrity. But now it seems that things are a bit off. Not only that, they don't sell it, but this dog thing also beat up others. Qin Fei pointed to the boss's son and then recounted what had happened earlier. What a bastard. After listening to Qin Fei's description, Zheng Xianghua became furious. Lu, you really have a lot of courage. Not only did you allow your son to behave recklessly, but now you are also beating up good people. I really misread you. The shop owner was full of grievances when Zheng Xianghua said that he had no idea what had happened earlier. He only wanted to hit someone out of a father's instinctive affection for his son. If he knew the inside story, he probably wouldn't dare to be so reckless. Thinking of this, he gave his own son a fierce glare and apologized to Qin Fei, saying, "Young man, I admit that today's incident was our fault. I apologize on behalf of my son here." "Stop it." At this moment, Qin Fei raised his hand and sneered, "Is your son's mouth his butt? Do you still need to apologize for him?" Upon hearing this, the boss kicked his own son and whispered, "Little rabbit, why don't you apologize to someone quickly?" "Yes. I'm sorry." Despite tearing Qin Fei's heart apart, Zheng Xianghua helped Qin Fei stand out, forcing him to break his teeth and swallow them in his stomach. This scene was like Qin Fei using force to force him to apologize to the old farmer earlier. What a heartless apology. "I see you really want to kill me now, right?" Qin Fei glanced at the other person and said calmly. "Don't push too far. The boss's son is angry. Alright, don't force anyone to apologize. In my opinion, this kind of unscrupulous shop shouldn't exist." At this moment, Zheng Xianghua suddenly took a step forward and said to the shop owner, "I announce that starting from today, your house's sign will be removed. You are not worthy of selling medicine on this street." "What? What?" The shop owner looked incredulous. It was hard to imagine Zheng Xianghua would kill them just because of such a small matter. "Isn't what I said clear enough? I told you to get out of this street." Zheng Xianghua deliberately raised his voice. "Why?" The boss's son jumped up. "Humph, just because I am the president of Anhai Traditional Chinese Medicine Association, isn't that enough? All businesses engaged in traditional Chinese medicine within the scope of Anhai City must be approved by the Chinese Medicine Association, so Zheng Xianghua really has this ability. Dr. Zheng, we can compensate this young man for some money, why don't you just ignore this matter?" At this moment, the shop owner bent over and said to Zheng Xianghua. "The medicinal herb shop can bring millions of net profits to their family every year. It can be said that having a store in their home is equivalent to having a money tree. So unless absolutely necessary, he naturally doesn't want to close it." Unexpectedly, Zheng Xianghua remained resolute and said, "I can't tolerate sand in my eyes. Since you want to make black money, then leave here, leave Anhai, and go somewhere else. I don't welcome you here." "Zheng Xianghua, are you really going to do this?" The shop owner straightened his waist bit by bit. There is a frenzy in the eyes. "That's natural. You're limited to moving out within 3 days, otherwise don't blame me for being impolite." After speaking, Zheng Xianghua turned around and left here with Qin Fei. "Dad, what should we do now?" As soon as Qin Fei and his son left, the father and son immediately gathered together. Cutting off one's financial path is like killing one's parents. Since they don't want us to live, no one can think of a better life. The shop owner's expression was terrifying at the moment. He directly called the group of people he had brought and said, "Go help me depose this old and young generation." His words caused a commotion in the room, but no one stood up. Obviously, no one dares. Zheng Xianghua possesses superb medical skills, and his network is even more terrifying. Dare to touch him. Unless you're tired of living. What's going on? Are you all cowardly? The shop owner cursed angrily and said, "Aren't we all fearless on weekdays?" After cursing angrily, he gradually returned to calmness, knowing what everyone was worrying about. "In this way, I won't make it difficult for you either. As long as you're willing to go, I'll give you 100,000 yuan each." He was about to be driven out of Anhai, and he couldn't swallow the sound no matter what, so he wanted Qin Fei and the others to pay the price. "Are you serious about this?" Under the temptation of heavy profits, some people couldn't help but speak. "As long as you can waste one of their hands and one of their legs, I'll give you money immediately." The shop owner looked at everyone with a cold expression. "Okay, I'll take care of them right away. And me too." 7 or 8 people stepped forward one after another. As the saying goes, under heavy rewards, there must be brave men. They are afraid that Jing Xianghua's identity is good, but if there is 100,000 yuan to take, after deposing those 2 people, they can completely take the money to live elsewhere. The world is vast, who can find them? Okay. Follow me to get the money.